So, we live in a time of technology where you can leverage your time, both in terms of tracking the data that you're supposed to call and helping you call them more quickly. One of them is a dialer system. And I've used for so long, I actually used it originally under the old name, Sales Dollars, and now it's known as Prospect Boss. We're glad to have here one of the key honchos. I don't know his exact title. I'll let him tell us. Gary Prado from Prospect Boss. Gary, how you doing? Nice to chat with you again.
Yeah, Bill. I mean, a long time no talk to. We've been working together for so long, but it's good to talk to you. It's been probably, 2 years maybe.
So what was your title for Sales Dollars? Were you founder or president or what? Head honcho? What were you there?
Yeah, so I was the founder. So I'm an idea guy, and so I came up with the idea of a solution like that back. We've been in business now 12 years.
Yeah.
I was the founder, came up with the idea of adding a CRM and a dialing aspect together. Right. And a CEO and founder, and that's what I do today. So
what's your title with Prospect Boss?
CEO and founder.
Okay, so you guys, it was just a name change or acquisition, or what's? Because I used Sales Dialers when you guys first started. It was great, and then one day the name changed. I'm like, what happened?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, and we get that a lot. So we became more than just a dialing solution, Bill. And Sales Dialers was just the term was a dialer. Yeah. And so, our engagement. Our solution engages leads much. We're going to go into this in a little bit, in a lot of different ways than just dialing. So we wanted to rebrand. We wanted to rebrand. It's just a total rebrand. That's it. Nothing has changed. We weren't bought out. Just a total rebrand of the.
Here, I thought you got rich and was sitting on an island somewhere in the Caribbean all this time. It turns out, no, it was a rebrand. Okay. So you hit a key point. I think that's the part of it is. That it's not just a blank, right? In some cases, the data people are not just data; they want to add a dialer, and you guys aren't just a dialer. You have a whole solution. At the end of the day, the job is what? To help the customer be more effective at talking to more people, right?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. These leads are busy now. They're busier than ever. Some of them with the economy, they might be working 2 jobs, and you've got to be effective at contacting people. These leads, the distressed homeowners or whatever you're going after. But so you've got to not only contact them at different times of the day, but you also have to contact them different ways. And so that's what we found out is that, you just have to contact them more often. And that's what our solution does. It's a multiplier for your success. Right. And so, if you're good at sales, you're going to be great using Prospect Boss. On the other hand, if you stink at sales, you're going to really stink at our system.
Well, unless you don't, I think it's also a way to supercharge the people who aren't going to call. The thing I found using your product, now I'm in the probate space. I know a lot of people who I know use you guys for probate. They buy their data, and then your system is pretty easy to upload a CSV file format, and then all the leads are there, and you manage them in the system, and you hit the dial, and it has the capacity to dial multiple phone numbers at once. And what I find is not even the multiple dialer, which is a great feature, but I just find that once I hit that start button, I'm stuck making phone calls until I consciously stop. I feel like I'm strapped into the roller coaster and we're going up and I just can't get out to the end of the ride. And if I program myself for a half hour or an hour of calling my past clients and I use Sales Dollars, it really forces me to see through it. It doesn't really force you. You could stop at any time. There's an emergency pull button on it, but mentally it helps me get in that mode. And I got to think, for me, that's the number one benefit of the dialer is it just forces you, of the prospecting system, is that it just gets you started to where you're now in motion on the process, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It keeps you, we like to say it keeps you on pace. So there's no, if you had a bad call with somebody, Bill, and, let's just say they were mad at you or whatever, sometimes people are, you'll get those every now and then, but by the time think about it, you're already talked to 3 other people, and there's no time, there's no time to put down, or, what we see is when people, if you just try to call on your cell phone, or if you have a rep or an ISA or VA or whatever, they're making notes on their paper, they're checking their phone.
Right.
And with Prospect Boss, you don't have that.
Right.
You're talking to somebody like the second you get off the phone. And
Right.
so
The next one's
keeps you on
hitting.
cue, keeps you on pace.
Yeah, I think so. The main factors I see are, one, it keeps you on pace. The second one is when I coach agents, the number one place where real estate agents fall down, in my opinion, is they don't work their COI. It's great to prospect new leads. There's nothing wrong with it. It's critical. I've done it, built my business on it. But the purpose of the new leads is to find new people to put into your foundation, your COI, your SOI. And I tell people, you need to call through that. The goal is not to leave them messages. The goal for those people is to talk to them. You want to dial three times. Well, that's hard to do. But with Prospect Boss, it's pretty simple because I just take the list and dial through. All the ones I hit come off the list. And then I just dial through a second time. And then in my mind, the third time now is when I want to leave messages because I've now tried them through. You make that possible. Doing it without a dialer is a much more challenging proposition. I think that's the second most advantage of your product that I see.
Yeah. Calling through effectively is what we're good at. And like I said, people aren't home during the mornings and the evenings and the afternoons, and you have to hit them at different times.
Right.
And so if you want to be effective and good at your job, so, that's what we do really well. You're going to be dialing about 200 leads an hour, 150 to 200 leads an hour. It filters out all the busies, disconnecteds, and no answers. And of course, you can drop messages on their answering machines as well. But you can't make that number of phone calls just picking up your phone and dialing and trying to call in those different times of the day.
Right.
You just can't. So
and to track
that's what
it.
We're good at.
And track it. I mean, it's dialing and tracking right there.
Right.
So the first thing is just kind of getting into motion and not stopping. Second is being able to call through your list. The third big advantage of your product, I think it's kind of the hidden gem, is the recording, subject to local laws. That number one, you can hear the prospect if you think you missed something or didn't write down right. But also from a coaching point of view, you hear yourself talk. And I think that's really valuable. When I was in the coaching business, I was charging $1,000 a month. The number one tool I had was made people record each other. And people say, well, I don't know how. Of course, with a phone, you can record yourself. You can't hear the other side. But with Prospect Boss, you can record and hear the whole conversation. Do you have any statistics? How many people actually go back and look at those recordings? To me, that's just gold.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. What we suggest is, I speak around the country at different events and so forth. Is you want to record those phone calls and have a role playing partner and have them critique you, and you could treat them, and that way you're holding each other accountable. So have a role playing partner that they listen in, and how you can do that. I mean, listen. High level athletes train to get better every day. Right. And so why wouldn't you? I mean, if that's where you have your bread and butter, as far as having conversations with probates, then you need to get better at what you do. So, you need to have that role playing partner that really critiques your role playing. And of course, the call recording makes a big difference for that. So you can just review it and just send it real easily.
So if somebody is interested in learning more, I always feel like the mistake is kind of all or nothing, but really with this, I think it's the opposite. It used to be you could buy a package of hours in your product or a low-level starter to get started. And then when that went well, then you might add the second or third dialer system and so many other features and data. So how do you see the sales process for somebody starting your product?
Yeah, well, first of all, we have a $10 10-day trial. So it's $10 to try our solution. And that really knocks down those walls, the barriers of, do you want to commit? It's $10. Now, all of our contracts are month to month. So it's not like you're in for a year or anything like that. We feel we have a great product. So, try it out for 10 days. If you want to continue with it after that, then that's great. But you do have to invest in yourself. And and time is your investment. So blank off your prospecting times during the day. I'm going to prospect and put it in my calendar. Nothing's going to get in the way of my prospecting time. I'm going to generate leads. I'm going to follow up with leads during those times, and it's on my calendar, and nothing gets in the way of it. And so you got to invest in yourself, and the tools are only part of that.
And then one can start with a one dialer, add a 3, and I think you guys have a $4 version also, but you don't have to start with that. You can start with just 1. And to me, that's by far the biggest jump is from 0 to 1, because now you're turbocharging your phone calls. Adding $3 and $4 is like turbocharging with a shotgun on the side or something. I don't know how, at least that's my experience of it. So you can start with that, and you can start with the month to month. They don't need to buy the data. And I tell people, don't buy the data to start with. Now, I don't mean to talk you out of sales, but you want them to make money. They're going to make more money calling people they know first and dialing that in before they're going to make money calling strangers. And I think that's the real downfall of agents is they spend money, they don't get results, then they're out of the business. And we want to get them the results. So to do that, they could start with a $10 for 10-day trial. They could upload. Now, when you get the trial, can you upload a couple hundred phone numbers, or what can you try for that 10-day period?
Yeah. So it gives you all aspects, all the features of our regular solutions. I mean, call recording, uploading leads. Uploading leads, we upload it via CSV file. So that's an Excel extension. And
Right.
so, you can upload, 1,000 leads and take you literally about 15 seconds. So they can do that, or we do sell the leads on our own. We do sell absentee owner data. We sell distress data, divorce data, motivated sellers, tax liens, and downsizers. They're
Nice.
20 cents per lead. We get the email and the phone number with those people.
Wow.
It's about a 70% accuracy rate.
Wow.
But we do sell that data as well. We'll even put it in the system for you, a la carte. So you just purchase whatever, tell us what you want, and it'll be in the system for you within a couple hours.
Well, certainly sophisticated agents who've used dialers and data should look into that in detail, and we'll probably have a chance to do a follow-up and go a little depth. But I want to say to every agent, listen to this call, at a minimum, get your COI, your SOI, whatever you call it, your METs, your database, and upload it in CSV format to Prospect Dialer. Dial through all of it, because you haven't talked to them all in those 90 days. I know you haven't. And that's the number one way to generate business. They're offering you to do that for $10. And then if you like it, you can subscribe from there. Gary, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for offering the $10 link. And you'll send me a link. We'll put that in the show, in the description down below for people who want to try your system out, right?
Yep, I'll send that one. We'll get you that link. I wanted to comment on one more thing, Bill.
Sure.
We do have 5 different ways for people to engage leads. One way is phone calls. Also, we do SMS marketing. You can set up drips for those.
Right.
Video text marketing, ringless voicemail drops, and email marketing all on one system. So, we're obviously a lot more than just a dialing system now. That's why we rebranded. But those are some other ways that you can engage leads in the system.
Really a complete package if you want to get started, if you want to get in that direction. And I've used all those. I've used your voiceless drops. I don't use that anymore. I've used SMS. I've used, it's nice when you call, when voiceless drop means also when you make your COI calls, you can create a generic voice message and you hit a button and it leaves messages. So if you're calling all expireds or all something, you can leave a message for each person that you call. So it's not like you're just sending out the message, but you're actually calling them. And then when they don't answer, use a recorded message rather than doing it individually. It speeds up the process, right?
Absolutely. Sure does.
Fantastic. Good. So we'll get the $10 10-day trial in the notes. Gary, thanks for your time today. It was fantastic.
Thank you, Bill, for having me on.